Hey, welcome. My name's Troy Mares. I am pumped to have you here. Today on the bench, we have the Falcam F50 quick release system. Now we're gonna find out if the F50 will actually speed up our workflow on set, and more importantly, if we can trust this to hold our beloved camera rigs. Let's talk shop. So what is the F50? Well, it's a quick release system that's designed to work with our larger cinema rigs to help with the process of getting our cameras on and off various supports like our tripods, like our sliders, our gimbals. It's gonna make that process faster and easier. Now, I think the real star of the show here is the F50 base plate. It's designed to work optimally with the F50 tripod plate, but this is gonna work with just about any of our Manfrotto style tripod plates. All right. On the back of it, you're gonna find a host of different attachment points. You got 1/4-20 and 3/8 threads throughout. Then on the front, you're gonna find 2 pass-through holes in case you need to screw anything down through the face of this plate into a support that's underneath. So plenty of different rigging options there. I'm gonna take advantage of one of the 1/4-20 threads on the back for this baby pin adapter, and I'm gonna show you how this thing works. So the F50 is a spring-loaded, clamp-based type quick release system. This over here is our lever, that's our clamp. Right now it's in its rearward position, so it's ready to accept our camera, our ball head, whatever we have our tripod plate on, and when you're ready to lock it in place, keep an eye on that lever there. That's all it takes. This is locked in as tight as it can get, and it's really pretty tight. Oftentimes, if we place our camera on the tripod, we're gonna need to balance it. So to do that, we can just bring our lever back about 1/4 to halfway and begin to reposition our camera along this by releasing some of that tension. And once it's in place, let it go and you're locked back in. When it's time to take your camera off, pull this all the way to the rear and you're out. It really is that simple. In my first impressions of the F50, there were really 2 things that stood out to me. The first was just how strong the bite is in this thing. And once you put a tripod plate in there, it's in there. The second was just how light it was. And that did give me a little bit of cause of concern because I wanted to make sure that this was going to be strong enough to hold my largest cinema rigs, right? So I did a little digging. This is an aluminum alloy material and it's designed to hold up to 110 pounds of vertical force. In order for me to use this, the F50, in my own production workflow, I needed it to check 2 boxes for me. The first box, it needed to actually speed up my workflow. And the second box, I needed to trust it with my camera. When I travel for work and I'm on a location, I try to pack my equipment down into the smallest footprint that I can, which is really helpful for checking a bag on an airline, but it's also helpful if you're in the city and you're in and out of small cars or up and down freight elevators. It's kind of a necessary evil, and it comes at a cost, and the cost is oftentimes longer setup times because you have to rebuild everything. That's where the speed of the quick release system really comes into play, and here's how I've been using it. One of the ways the F50 quick release system has come into play is with my tripod. I've been able to attach one of the systems in between the half ball and the actual tripod head itself, which allows me to disassemble my tripod and then reassemble it on location really pretty quickly, which is much quicker than the notoriously long-winded screw of the half ball if you wanted to separate it that way. I have found plenty of other places to use these QR base plates though. One of them is living on my slider right now, which has been great. I also use it in a very similar configuration to this to help with rigging up top-down shots. I put a baby pin spigot on there, attach this to a combo stand with a boom arm, and that gets my camera up in the air really pretty quick. So I think it's pretty safe to say that this system is going to check off that first box, which deals with the speed, but it's that second box. Can I trust it to hold my camera? Because I love my camera. So I got an idea. Okay, we put it to the test. Now, if you know me, I love a good pros and cons list, so let's run through it. The first pro of the F50 is that it is a Manfrotto style quick release plate. There are just not a lot of these out on the market. There are plenty of quick release systems built for Arca Swiss style plates, but I don't particularly like Arca Swiss style plates. They're just a little bit small for my taste. And many of our video focused fluid head tripods are designed for Manfrotto plates, but not many other things are. So being able to adapt all of the other things, all of the other support equipment to work with one uniform plate system is really a pro. That's why it's in the pros list. All right, second pro, and that's going to be the speed. Now, I know we talked about speed in the product testing, but it really is something that I think is a big pro of this system in particular. I quite like that as soon as you drop your plate in, that's it. There are no secondary movements. There's no cams or levers or screws you need to tighten down. This is as close to plug and play as you can get, and I think that's worth its own pro. Moving on. All right, pro number 3, and that's that these come in different sizes. For the most part today, we've talked about the longer plate F50, but let's not sleep on the short guy, right? Because there are certain situations where that's not going to be the right answer, and you're going to need something shorter. Me personally, I keep one of these shorter F50 plates permanently attached to the bottom of my slider, because the longer base plate would no longer fit in the supplied slider case, so that solves that problem. Then you get cross-compatibility amongst the whole system. So you could put the long plate on the short base, or the short plate on the long base, and it's all good. All right, that's going to bring us to the cons. And truthfully, I don't have many to share with you. Since I went to the work of making that motion graphic, I feel like I need to populate it with something. So if I'm going to, give you a con, it's going to be that it feels pretty light. When something feels heavy, it feels solid and very well built. Holding this next to my Kessler quick release, this is, quite a bit heavier. But, like we saw in the product testing, this really holds up well. Certainly enough for anything I'm going to need to put on it, and I trust it to hold my camera. So really, I have a hard time knocking it for being light, because that just means that there's less for me to carry around. So at the end of the stick, I really do think that this is a great product, and I find myself changing the way that I work. I'm re-rigging my cameras and rethinking my workflow to utilize more of these. And really, what more can you say about a product other than I use it myself on a near daily basis? So if you have any questions at all, you can find me down in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out with me. Happy shooting. See you in the next vid.